Howdy, folks. Rock the DuckFarmer here, and I'm playing Factory in the Sky 4 on the FTOG server, and you can too. As long as the people interested in playing on the server, it will stay up, and I'm still playing on it. I'm having fun with it. Anyway, I'm sitting here at the roots area that I worked on last time, and I'm not doing anything with roots. In fact, what I did do is a little things with the ghast. Here, let me show you what I mean. We made it. I decided to make a ghast model, and so I can sit there and generate more ghast tiers as much as I wanted. And to do that, I went ahead and created this entity spawner from Mob Grinding Utils. Not too hard, just a little bit of the jelly babies here. Easy to make that. And then what you do is I put it in the ground. Okay, so to get the ghast tier, what you want to do is make yourself a DNA swab, any two wool and a stick, easy. And you right click that to on the creature you want. In this case, I went to the nether, went to one of the bastions, waited until a ghast spawned, and then right click to the ghast. I also made from the hostile mob utilities, I went ahead and grabbed the data model, right clicked on the ghast as well, so that I could generate some ghasts. Anyway, I went ahead, put the scroll all the way to the bottom. Oh, I don't have the deep learner in here. I've got it over here. I put the ghast model in the deep learner, put the deep learner on my accessories tab, and then I came into here, put the ghast spawn egg into here, and it to go from 1 kill, 2 kills, something like that, to filling it out is like a stack and a half of jelly babies, because each one that you here, I'm gonna hide the area. I did offset it by 1 is up, so that it will spawn up here. In fact, I'm going to get rid of that for right now. And if I turn this on, it will generate for me a ghast after a while. And now he's dead. We'll turn that off. And that eats up one of the jelly babies in there. So a stack and a half of that took that data model from basic, or the lowest tier, all the way up to self-aware. So it can do everything. Let's pull you out. And, I'll probably just leave that there. Let's get rid of you there. And I'll put the hostile learning stuff. What's the hostile neural networks? That mod I'm keeping over here. So that's self-aware, that's self-aware. This I need to raise up by spawning some more of them. I need to generate an egg. Warden's self-aware, and my ghast is now self-aware. I'm not spawning an ender dragon. I don't know if I can. If I'm going to try that, I'm going to try that in the end. I'm not trying it here. I don't want it to destroy my base. Spider model, I could do a bit more, and same with the zombie. Anyway, so just filling out some of those so I can get access to some of these bits. Like, for example, with the shulker stuff, I can make end rods, which I can make anywhere. But the shulker shells are nice to have let's hit B, to have a netherite shulker box that I can load up with tons of stuff. Anyway, so played with that just kind of offhand, and do like how that ended up over here. Nice little overgrown area. It just looks pretty. I like it. What I do want to do, though, is get a better, let's say it's a better networking setup here, both power and crafting. Now, this is the netherite auto crafter, and it has a lot of different bits in here. And it's interesting that these ones don't have an actual visual on them when you hold down the shift key. But anyway, I want to sit there and craft a few things. If we look at the questies and storage, yeah, I've crafted up the 1024K storage part. Next is the 4,000, and then top here is the 16,000. Oh, do I have a 16,000 in here? I do. Okay. Past Grok did me a solid and actually generated the recipes for all of these. And if I click on this, it tells me I've got all the bits I need. However, I don't want to craft it because it won't give me the quest rewards for this 4K. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate the 4K. Let's make I'm just going to make one of these, and it's just in the background generating all the stuff. I could make the all done. I could make the one crafting piece that would see the generation of stuff going on, but I'm not going to do that. But instead, what I am going to do is generate this last one. Since there's one of these already available, it only needs to craft two, and it's really smart. It knows what it needs. I went ahead and made a bunch of the basic processors and improved processors. And where's the advanced? There's the advanced processors. I could set up a machine that would actually smelt those down and hook it into my refined storage setup here, but yeah, too lazy. I'm not going to be doing many of these. I'm just going to make one of these. I'm not even sure I'm going to use this, but I do want to finish up the mod quest for this one. It's going to take twice as long as the last one because it's got two of the 4K bits that it needs to generate. And let's go think like that. That completes that quest bit. And let's get that reward. A honey bottle. And this reward, what is it? Cognizant dust. That's actually a really nice reward. Although I've got lots of cognizant dust, I don't need more. I do want to make one of these. So now I can make a... Do I really need to? No, I really don't need to, because this one here, the 1K, the 1000K, so 1 million storage disk, it's only 3% full because of this bad boy that is just full of good stuff. And I still have a little bit of more room for other bits in here. Anyway, that certainly works. Let's get rid of that. Next thing I want to do, if we take a look at the list of quests, not here, power quests. I've jumped ahead on some of these, like energy cell. I've gone all the way up to the top tier, the niotic, and so don't need that. I do want to complete this one, which is the basic. So if we come into here and we do reactor, first thing, there's the basic, there's the starter is first, but I'll go ahead and create the basic. And looking at this, yep, I've got all the bits for that, and I need 36 of these. So let's, it's gonna craft them 4 at a time, but I need 36 because I need to make a 3x3 by whatever it was. I don't know. 4? I think it's 3x3x4 if I'm thinking right. I'm trying to remember. Anyway, let's go ahead and generate that. There's 436. And that should complete the quest. It does. Let's dump you back in. And I want to craft the nitro. I want to go all the way to the tippy top, and I've got everything available. So let's go ahead and make the 36 of these. All right, and how can I... Oh, I'm missing this, and I'm missing some of those. Well, I can make these easily enough. It's just going to take me a little bit. All right. Let me make some clay. Let me make some of these niotic crystals. I need like 2 stacks. Oh, no, I'm missing 6. I already have 2 stacks. Okay, let's make a stack of that, and then I'm going to have to make a bunch of this. Well, good news is I've got the ender stars to make that happen. So that's not a problem, or not ender star, nether stars to make that happen. But I'm not going to do that right now on camera. Now I have plenty of resources here in place. I'm going to have to send past Grok a sternly written letter to say, hey, check the recipes before you hand it off to me so that I know I can make all the stuff. Anyway, let's make all the stuff. Because what I really want is the top tier reactor. And there we go, 36 of them. And let's go this way, because power is over here underneath the Cherry Temple. Power currently is this 4 of these thermonite generators. These are the top tier nitro things. Blazing crystal underneath, that's the hottest stuff in the pack. And water coming in, and you can't see it, but there's a cell there in the center that all of these are feeding into. Anyway, over here is where I'm going to set up the reactor, and I have this logic flow, if this makes sense. I've got a primary battery, and if we look at that, that's on channel 1, where there's about 20 billion Fe stored in there. So plenty of power in the primary battery. Secondary battery has nothing, channel 2. Anyway, so what I want is I want the primary battery, the passives go in. So those are powering the primary battery, and this is what feeds out to everything and powers everything in the network. What I do want is a secondary battery, and that's going to be the channel 2. It will feed into the primary battery, and the reactor is going to be the source of power here. The reactor runs on fuel, and I don't want it to run 24/7 when it's doing nothing. And so that's why I'm setting it up this way. So once you have your 32 reactor blocks of whatever tier you want, you can see wherever you place it, it's going to be the center bottom of the reactor. And the nice thing is when you do that, it just starts placing all of the blocks for you. Yeah, it's a 3x3x4. It's not super difficult, but this is handy. This is very handy. It means I don't have to do all that work. It just did it for me, which is cool. All right, so looking at this, the way I have it, I'm using the nitro cables to sit there and pull the power. It's the fastest, densest power cable way of doing stuff, and I've got it set up so it's pulling, and over here it's pushing the power, so it'll come from the reactor and go into here, into channel 2. Speaking of channel 2, let's go ahead and make a nitro battery for that. So it'll have 2 million pieces, or 2 billion actually, bits of power to hold. All right. And I pulled out my binding card so this doesn't charge up because I don't need it. If I crouch click this in, now the secondary battery pack on channel 2 has a room of 2 billion. Now, the problem though is, how do I connect 2 to 1? Well, I can't do it here. So let's get this connected, and then we'll set up the reactor there. So let's walk back there. Zoop. What I need is 2 of those ender cells, and I've got 2 of them right here. So this one is set to channel 1, and this one is set to channel 2, and I did the same sort of push and pull through here. So channel 2 is feeding into channel 1. And we can't see it because it's buried within those 4 thermogenerators, but there's another one of these ender cells hiding in there that's channel 1, and that's why it's set up to full power. But if I come over to here, earlier I was talking about the, let's look it up, the Infinity backpack, and you see I've got almost 8 billion Fe in there, and to get it to the top tier, I need that. Let's see, hundreds, thousand, million, billions, trillions, quadrillions, quintillions, 9 quintillion Fe. No, that's not happening. However, what I can do is I can come to here and I can toggle this so it starts pumping power into here. You can see how it's doing. I'm gonna let maybe 2 billion get fed into there. That's far slower than I remember. Anyway, I'm going to let some power of this go away because I want to test something with the reactor. Because the idea is, when my main battery here is low, it's okay for the reactor to then pump up and push power in. So I'm happy with that. Okay, I think we're probably good there. And this is now going back up. Yes. So let's run over to the reactor and get it set up. Let's stand over here. And I made this little walkway because I went back and forth and it was bumping me up and down, up and down, up and down. And I said, okay, that's kind of annoying. One of the things that the reactor needs, if we look at it, there's nothing here. I do want to configure this so the auto mode is on. So if it's off, it just runs continually. And that's dumb. With it on, it will run when it's below 70% in the internal battery. It will turn on until full and then stop. It won't generate anymore. And then when it crosses below 70% of its battery, it turns back on again. So that's a much better setup. It needs a cooling fluid, and I'm just going to hit it with some water. Let's grab these and these. And so if we, I don't need these on my bar anymore. So there's water, 1 bucket, that's all it needs. It's okay with that. Now up here, I'm going to take the exporter, put that on here, and let me grab this network receiver. Just gotta crouch click because right clicking here shows the reactor. Anyway, this receiver needs a card, so I'm going to right click that, and it's now bound this location. And we will plug it into the network in a bit. This, I want it to export out these items. And once it's connected with the network, it will go ahead and do that. For right now, it's not. Let me go ahead and plug in these guys. And it will generate a little bit of power, but not very much right now because it's so very little. It wants more. So let's run out of here. Actually, I can grab this chest because there's nothing in there. All right, let's go configure the network so it can start pushing more items in. Let's go back to the pagoda. Here is the network transmitter. And I think if I break, there's something right there. Yep. I want to put it right here. So let's go point right there. And if I put in the network card, it's connected to that other system now. Put you there and put you there. And we can get rid of that. That can go and that can go. And we'll put that back into my inventory because if I need more slots, I can do so. All right, let's dump you in there. What should be happening now is the main network is now connected to this remote network down here. And yep, it's got the happy light green or teal color, and it should be pushing in these items. What am I out of uranite? Nah. Oh, I think it's saying that uranite is full, so it can't push more uranite in. Okay, I can go with that. I need some dry ice. Let's grab a stack of those and some. I wish you would come back to here. I if I set this to yes for auto select, I can never type down here, which annoys me more than not being up here. Coal. Let's get a stack of coal. And you can have a stack of there and you can have a stack of there. Cool. So now it should be running pretty much max power. So it's doing about 440 K of power right now. And depending on how much is here, it will do a good job. That's as cool as it can be. All right, so what's happening here is this is going into the Endercell channel 2, but I don't want to toggle that because that's where it's going out. Let's go back to the main base. And the only reason I'm putting it down here is because of that there. So the power generation is in the same area. Let's go upstairs. And this one here. Okay, so it's generating power as soon as this hits 2 billion or 20 billion, then that will fill up power here and the passive should start coming in. Yep. And now this will start filling up. And what should happen, this only can go into here, but there's no room. And my passive power should be filling up this. Once this is full and the reactor is full, then the reactor should stop and there should be no more power going into it, or it should no longer be generating power. And I think if that's the case, then it should stop consuming the items, the redstone, the coal. I can, I don't have mystical agriculture seeds for either coal or the redstone. I do have uranite. I do have the seeds that will generate the ice essence that I can use to make ice to make into blue ice, which I can then turn into dry ice. So I need to make some essences or some seeds for these. So I'll send a note to Future Grok to get on that and make that happen. And we'll see how fast he does that. Yep, we're about halfway. Well, no, we're about a quarter. That can't be right. No, if that's a middle. So yeah, okay. It is pumping up pretty darn fast, which is cool. These guys, how well are they doing? Yeah, these are still generating their internal buffer of 40 million FE. They don't generate huge amounts. They're doing about 5.6K each, which is close to 20K per tick, which is a decent amount of passive power. And I love that. And 99% of the time, my base doesn't need more than the 20K. But for those rare times that I do, this bad boy is now in place. And if I have logicked this correctly, then because this is full and the passive batteries or the passive thermogenerators are pushing into the battery, this should not turn on the reactor. That's my hope. We'll see. This, you can see there's zero power in the reactor, and these items are slowly getting consumed. And you could feed it entire coal blocks or entire redstone dust blocks, but I prefer the smaller amounts because the stored seems to fill up faster. And I believe when they're higher, yeah, you generate more power the higher up. I think it's the higher up this is. Anyway, it's got its own little intricacies, but this is working, and it's mostly just kind of set it and forget it, especially with the auto mode on. So, how are we doing here? We're about three-fourths of the way there, which is super, super cool. And going from the top tier battery, which is 2 billion, to the one before, it's like 400 million or maybe 100 million power. There's not, it's a massive jump. And I really love being able to have tons and tons and tons of power storage. I find power storage to be far more important than actual power generation because I'm not always using huge amounts of power. I'm using small amounts, and this should be filled up. All right, that's filled. There's a little power being used, huh? Okay. And then this is going up. So if I'm lucky, then check these. Yeah, these are still going up. All right. If I'm lucky, when this gets to the 100%, it will just stay at 100%, so it doesn't continue using this. We'll find out fairly shortly. This holds 500 million FE, which again is a huge amount. So I was saying I'm far more interested in large amounts of power storage than power generation typically, because my power needs are typically small, especially starting out in a pack. And if I can have slow power generation that I'm not using 100% of, then it can go into the oh, it is being pulled out. I was saying I'm okay with small power generation going into power storage that can buffer me for when I do need the large amounts. Huh. I wonder if this is directional, because when I tested this in this flow in the single player creative mode, it was working exactly as I wanted. The passives were generating all the power here, and then the secondary, it ran up to 100% and then just stopped. But it's slowly going down, and this is slowly pumping power in at about 1,000 FE, and I'm generating far more here, so I'm not sure why. Let's do this for fun. If it's a directional thing, break you, and you have stopped, which is what I would expect. Let's place that here, and let's go ahead and say that it's going to be pushed in. And this is full here. And this is still ticking down. Dang it. That's not what I want to happen. Why? Interesting. Let's go upstairs and try another directional thing. Um, I don't know if it's directional or not, but it was working fine before. Oh, no, we got one more up. What if we take this, break that, and put it here? And there's that. That's full. Let's go ahead and say this is pulling from. And so Let's check out the reactor, because I really don't want the reactor to continually run. It doesn't need to push power into the system unless it is below it, and it's still doing it. If I turn this off, it's just, oh, auto mode off is not running. Okay, so it's either off or on. It doesn't let you just run and run and run this. Okay, I like that. This I could set up. This is currently set up for redstone ignore. Huh. Hmm. I don't get it. I'm not sure why this is pushing power in when it shouldn't be. Let's try one last thing. Break that there. Place it here. Yeah, see, that shows some power is coming out of it. We pull. Oh, no, I've got to push the power into this. So yeah, it's pulling from the secondary when there's plenty of power going into this through the primary, and these are full. Huh. I do not know why. I wonder. Let's grab another fluid here, and let's grab another power cable here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to break you and break you, put you here, you there, and that will start. Oh, nope, it kept everything, which is good. Connect that, so that can keep running. But this isn't going to instantly charge this. And here's the full 20 billion. But if I put this in place and say this is going to push the energy in, and here we're going to pull the energy out, is that going to have a higher priority than this stuff down here? Nope, still doing it. Still losing some power here. Huh. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure why in single player it worked, and here on the server it's not. Other than this is a server, but this will keep me in power continually. I am going to turn this off because I don't need this on at this point, and it will just slowly leach out all the power out of here, but it won't actually turn on. I think that's because it's not running right now. I think that's the case. All right. Well, I've got better power, but this didn't work, and that bugs me because I don't want to have my reactor reacting all the time. I want it to only kick in when the primary battery is running low, and that's because the passives are out of power. And I don't get it. Oh well, that's just the way it is. I tried and it didn't work. Future Grok here, and I've got good news, everyone. I think I've got it working right. Let's come back here and take a quick gander. This is on, and it's almost done. It'll be filled, and there you go. It is no longer pushing or slowly trickling charging anything. This is exactly what I was looking for. This has got the full 2 billion. This has got its full 500 in there, and it's not going down because all of these passives here are generating sufficient power to fuel everything that I need, and those are pumping into the primary battery cell there on channel 1. And the only difference I had, let's come into here, was up here. I moved the ender cell. It was up here, so it was in a straight line. I didn't like that. I wanted it kind of be in this 2x2 configuration better. And yeah, it's on 2. This is on 1. The 2 is pumping into the 1. And because this is full and the passives are continually full, that's it. That's all I need. That's exactly what I need. I think it's because this was placed last. This maybe has a higher priority than this one. And so power is being inserted and pulled out of the primary, the battery 1, channel 1 first. That's my guess. I don't know. but it works. That does exactly what I'm looking for it to do. And I've got some power sitting in there that I can drop it into here if I really want. Now I've got 10 billion FE in here, and it doesn't matter because I'm not actually really using that. But there you go. Problem solved. Anyway, it has been Grok the Duck Farmer trying out the reactor from Power, and I do like it. I do like setting it up and getting it running there, and just not doing exactly what I want, which is a shame. But oh well, what can you do? And thanks for watching.